Welcome to Reality Bites and hello to everyone at the Australian Hairdressing Council. I'm Debbie and I'm from the Salon Business by the Keeleys. Today I'd just like to give you all a little bit of an insight and a little tip on dealing with conflict management within the salon. I know this can be one of the most difficult things to deal with when you've got a team and staff, because nobody actually wants to deal with conflict, which is it's only human. But one thing that I do find that does help is if you have a little set procedure in which you work through these events. Like I said, they don't come up very often, and I hope they don't come up often for you too, but when they do, it's always good to have a plan. So I use a little mnemonic called F.A.C.T. So this helps me go through the steps, deal with any type of conflict in the same way within the salon. It's a really good way that your team can see how you deal with any conflict that arises within the salon. They all know that they're going to be dealt with fairly, and it's always got the same procedure. So obviously as a salon manager and a salon owner, we're always looking to get the best outcome for the team and the salon. So it depends on obviously what type of conflict you're dealing with. Like you say, it could be a misunderstanding between staff members. It could also be anything to something where a staff member isn't performing and you need to maybe manage the staff member out. So this can be used with any type of conflict. So the little mnemonic that I use is F.A.C.T. Now I use this, like I said, just to work through the steps. Because as a salon owner or a manager, you may not actually be in the salon when any type of conflict arises. So by using these 4 steps, it just helps you deal with everything and go through and make sure everything's been documented, and it's a safeguard for yourself. So firstly, I deal with the F, which we go as formal. So whatever the conflict is in the salon, it's always dealt with initially very formally. So I deal with all the parties involved in a professional manner. Anything that we discuss, I would speak to all parties. Everything is documented, so I have notes to go back on. And I also pop this into our manager's reports, which is a living document which we use all the time in the salon. I also deal with and speak to anybody who else was in the salon at the time. You might have support staff, you may have receptionists, front of house. I speak to everybody and find out what exactly went on. The next part is A for actual events. So this comes after the formal part. So I've got a pretty good idea of what's been happening. I've got obviously documentation on what I've been told. So now I'm actually dealing with the people involved in the conflict. I've had it recently in the salon with an apprentice and a senior. They just did not see eye to eye, and yeah, I sat them both down and we went over the actual events. Now this is where just keeping it to the actual events stop you getting sidetracked into other side sort of things that may be happening in the salon. You're just dealing with everything that you've documented and the actual events. So C goes for concise. So I try to keep it as brief as possible, obviously giving each party time to discuss what's happened and their grievances and things, but I also keep it as comprehensive as possible. I listen, I try not to get too involved in the conversation, and just, yeah, like I said, get all the facts and listen to both people. Then timely. Always deal with any sort of conflict in a timely manner. I find that if you let the situation go for days or weeks, it can then really affect the salon culture. It can also be quite damaging to other team members, to other staff, as obviously if it's kept and drawn out, other people start to get involved unintentionally. So timely is the last part, and this is probably one of the most important parts. Deal with everything as soon as possible. Once you've got all the information, the actual events, deal with it as quickly as possible. Yeah, and like I said earlier, salon culture, dealing with these sorts of conflict in this sort of way gives everybody the confidence in your as a manager, as a salon owner, that everybody is seen to be treated fairly, and obviously from your point of view, the outcome is the best for the team and for the salon. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you'd like any more information on these types of issues, we do have more content like this on our Facebook page, which is Salon Business by the Keeleys, and I'm sure you will find lots of helpful hints and tips on there. Thank you. Bye.